But let's take you to the story now. Transport Minister Sindisiwe Chikunga has applauded the Eastern Cape for a decrease in road fatalities so far during the festive season. She led a joint roadblock on the N2 along the notorious Emakhaphetshwini high crash zone between Mthatha and Qumbu in the Eastern Cape yesterday. Now, let's discuss these and other issues. We are now joined by the Minister of Transport, Sindisiwe Chikunga. Minister, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Now, a week ago, of course, you were giving us the statistics around the road fatalities. We were sitting then at around 700 deaths, recorded on our roads. You were in the Eastern Cape, as we said earlier, one of the 5 provinces, in fact, together with KZN, Gauteng, the Western Cape and Limpopo, that contribute to 80% of road fatalities each year. What have been your key observations as to why we continue to see such high road accidents on our South African roads?
Good afternoon, and good afternoon to your viewers. Thank you for having us. What we have observed is that this festive season is extremely challenging. The numbers of crashes are increasing. Alcohol abuse, reckless drivers and reckless pedestrians are the culprits at this time. And of course, the situation is exacerbated by rainy weather, and people do not take that into consideration as they drive. We have seen during the Christmas weekend increase in crashes and fatalities. And of course, like we indicated, the provinces that have recorded less numbers for now is Eastern Cape, which is leading a 34% reduction, with 34% reduction. And of course, your Free State, Northwest and Northern Cape, they are still on the decrease. But then the 2 provinces, which is Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal, are really not helping us in many ways. The numbers are increasing. We were hoping that with many pedestrians, in fact with many travelers having left Gauteng, that's going to have some impact, but it seems not to be the case. KZN is receiving quite a number of travelers, and during the weekends, in fact Saturdays and Sundays, this last weekend, Sunday, had so many fatalities, particularly the pedestrians this time around. They are close to 50% in terms of pedestrians that have actually died during this festive season. And I can say that the drunken driving is the lead cause of many of the accidents, followed of course by fatigue. People are driving long distances and they are not resting. Speed, particularly with young people, they are speeding on the roads. And then of course roadworthiness, be it of the driver or of the vehicle itself, and pedestrians. They are really dying like never before. And this is extremely concerning because this happens in CBDs, it happens in residential areas. We have deployed our resources. We have to share between the main routes, that is our national roads, provincial roads, and residential areas. We can do so much with such a high demand, and we are begging South Africans that they need to remember that there are rules of the road and we can do better. I must immediately extend our condolences to families that have lost their loved ones. We already know of our artist, Mr. Mbongeni Ngema, of course another member of Parliament, National Assembly, Honorable Mthembu, but many other South Africans. They've passed on during this festive season. A number of other people that we do not talk about are in hospitals having sustained serious injuries in accidents on the road. But we really are begging South Africans that we can do better. We are on the road. We've been getting feedback from people that are traveling, that indeed our traffic officers are visible. There are quite a number of activations on the road. But of course, it can be that the next is a person who is driving or who is using the road.
Minister, human behavior is often blamed for majority of crashes on the roads, and you've alluded to many of that now. I mean, to what extent would you acknowledge that another contributor of road deaths is due to poor maintenance, poor quality of our roads, and other engineering factors?
Of course, yes, it will be. If the road has got potholes, and particularly during rain, when it is raining, somebody might not even be able to see a pothole. However, when people are sober, I'm making an example, and I'm upset that I'm willing to come to SABC and explain as to what it is that we are doing in as far as the state of the roads is concerned, because that's a topic by itself. It can take time. But what we are saying is that for road safety, yes, indeed it does contribute, but 86% and more are as a result of human behavior. The rest is shared between the engineering, the environmental sectors, and of course the conditions of the car. And they share the remainder, which might be around 14% or so. So you can actually see even those that I'm talking about. If a person is sober, I'm making an example, if you are sober, you can navigate through the potholed road. You can drive better, even if the road is wet, it's misty, and it's slippery. You can drive better if you are sober, because you'll take that into consideration. When the road has sharp bends, your hairpin bends, if you are sober-minded, you'll be able to negotiate those bends. But if you are drunk, you will not be able, you'll therefore overturn. And as we are seeing, as number 3, cars that are overturning by themselves. Also your hit and run as number 2, following drunken driving.
And Minister, that is exactly why we invited you today onto the show, knowing very well that there are some developments that you wanted to speak to in terms of the status of our roads in the country. I mean, I hear what you're saying in terms of course, remaining sober so you can see some of those obstructions on the road. But we want to talk about those obstructions. I mean, we are talking about, of course, a huge network of road that spans, I think, 750,000 kilometers, but a large portion of the roads in our country are in shambles. The situation is not ideal at all, particularly when you look at provinces like the Free State, where farmers are crying out, saying that they're losing millions of rands per year in terms of the status of our roads. And that is why it is crucial then for us to have that conversation in terms of what is being done, in terms of the status of our roads, which would also contribute to reducing those numbers of fatalities that we are currently seeing.
Indeed, we will be more than willing to come and have such a discussion, and also to have a discussion with South Africans to say how best can we fund our road infrastructure. I think that is a topic that we need to go to look into as a country, because there is no country in the world that is able to construct and to maintain its road infrastructure only on the basis of the fiscus, the money that they get from National Treasury, for instance. What else can we do? Those are the matters that we're looking at as the department. But if you relate the state of our roads to road safety, which I think for now is our focus, it plays, yes, some role, but not the major role. The major role is about the behavior of our people. And I want really to appreciate yourself and the media for giving us these laws, because we're able to remind our people to say, you are on the road, you are sharing with other people. There are children that were waiting for their fathers. There are children that were waiting for their mothers. There are children that were waiting for their sisters and brothers during this Christmas and festive season, hoping that they will bring them some goodies and so on. They did not arrive at home. They received messages to say they are now in mortuary. You can imagine what that does to that family. So we're not talking about numbers. Already we are above 1,000 as we speak today. This doesn't happen in other countries of the world. In fact, the numbers that we're talking about for Sweden, they are not for a year fatal crashes. They speak about 300 per year, and they still want to have that 300. I mean, Australia, they're speaking about less than 300, about 200, 200 and something. They still want to have that. It cannot be that we are, as South Africa, with the road infrastructure that we have, which is much better compared to some countries in the continent, if you look at it. But we are way above other countries, even in the continent, that hardly have any road infrastructure, and they share the road with everything if you go to the countries. But they don't record the number of fatalities that are recording in South Africa. There must be something that we are not doing right. And we know now that it is our behavior. It's how we use the road. That we think because there is alcohol. I don't drink, but I don't think that anyone who drinks should drink as if there is no tomorrow. And if you drink as if there is no tomorrow, it's your choice. But then it is illegal, and it is wrong for you to then get into the car and drive the car and put it on the road, because then that is wrong. That is an offense. That is criminality. You're putting the lives of other people in danger out of your own, and not only putting them in danger, others have actually died thanks to you. Mbogeningema, for instance, is just one case. It's a drunk truck driver. That is the allegation right now. It's a drunk truck driver who leaves his lane and cause a head-on collision. South Africa has lost one of its best artists. This is what is happening on the road. Can that person today say, it's okay, I was happy and it's worth it? It can't be. And that is what we are saying to South Africans, to say, if you want to drink, please drive, park your car. Then you can drink as much as you want if you want to drink. But if you are going to be in the car and drive the car, then remember, you are actually have to respect the people that will be in your car, whether they are your family. They also have a right to be driven by somebody who is sober-minded, but also other road users. And that is our plea. Young people, particularly our black young boys, they are not the only ones who own cars. We are happy as parents, we are happy as South Africans when they are able to purchase vehicles and own such assets. But they are not the only ones. There are more than 13 million vehicles in South Africa. They share that road with those people. So it cannot be that it's only them who are going to speed and do wrong things when they know for sure that they're not supposed to do that. Next thing, they are in accidents. Next thing, people are dead. Next thing, those who are passengers, they've got them to be buried. The relatives, they cry, they can't even see this festive season because somebody has died. I'm talking more than 1,000 now. And that is not just a figure. It's bodies, it's people, it's families, it's communities that are already affected.
Minister, that's where we have to leave it for now. Thank you so much for your views. Minister of Transport Sindisiwe Chikunga there, of course, talking about some of the road fatalities, currently sitting more than 1,000 on South Africa's road.